big hit. $2 million, especially if we don't have to pay Robbie any more money. That'd be perfect. $1 million
I don't know what the number is, and the only reason that they're not doing it straight to your face is because it's more money. So.
Have them gather up all the evidence and have them track it, and we'll just offset it, and that would be no problem.
Frank Arena can show you where all skeletons are, but he said there's something that he doesn't know what it is in Timberline that's causing them to resist. It seems.
Oh, well,
he thinks that he thought it was just had to do with it.
Place our headquarters, go to Clearwater next.
Yeah, if you have a little conversation with Frank Arena at some point, and gather the facts on it, that might help you with exactly how you might handle this direct.
Yeah, I'll definitely do that. I'll get I'm not worried. I'm not at all worried about being able to say, Robbie, I caught you. So we're going to just call this square. We'll get out of the place. The construction company's up anyway. Lease will terminate in January.
Oh, you want to get out of the building?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
We don't need to get
That's another issue. The building. The insurance.
No.
Frank said they used to maintain the trucks, but since we bought the place, they stopped maintaining everything.
Well, yeah, this was just, we'll wind this up and that'll be fine.
Okay. All right. Yeah, if we can slide out from that facility and start fresh, that would probably be.
Oh, yeah. But I want to bring it back. I want to bring it someplace closer to Sanford so guys can watch it.
You probably don't exploit. Maybe okay on that. All of the office employees.
Oh, the office employees are all going to go to Clearwater anyway. That's a big, there's no reason to have them process the stuff when Clearwater will be fully set up with people who are really good at this.
I'm with you there.
So that will be a welcome cut of, that'll help. The workers will keep a location out there in the Titusville area because we want to keep the employees. They can go out to wherever the job assignments are. For the office folks,
We might have a conversation with Ed and Frank on what's going on. The plans for moving forward would probably be just do a world of good on dealing with that place so that we monitor our exposure in the short term and make a good plan for the future to get where you want to go.
I'll make sure they
It'd be worth a half hour.
Yep, I'll do that.
Sorry.
The problem with the IRS of Miami is they cannot consider a deal less than 2 years. We've been clearly instructed that we should not have this thing go up any higher.
Than 2 years?
They suggest that we back this deal back onto Miami and not let it get up any higher. He took me through a very good reason as to why.
Okay.
So we are going to convert the deal to what would be a build up to a 2-year payout, and then that would be it. There is no offer in compromise. Don't even consider it. He's gotten not only a no, but a blank no every time since then. And it's only the fact that Everson is his protege that allows him to keep moving the thing up through the system. It's simply not going to happen.
And
so put a 2-year installment in and make the thing go away. And on the other one,
ouch. Okay. That is exactly the wrong answer for what I was hoping for. 100% the wrong answer for what I was hoping for. Ouch. Okay. So, what Jim do? What did Jim do? Falling on a sword.
Craig.
Oh, you said Jim.
Oh, Craig Vanderberg when he did something.
You said Vanderveer.
You said Vanderveer.
I was like, where did Vanderveer, Dick?
That's why I'm like, oh my God, what the hell did Jim do?
No, that was Vanderberg.
Vanderberg, okay. Okay. But, all right, how did we reasonably?
I move the consolidation, I make the bullion due in January of 2009.
Now, realistically, what can we realistically get out of capital source as part of this consolidation roll-up?
plenty, but it would be not gonna matter, why? I'm easily able to calculate $25 million a month in profits going forward. I made a very clear statement to everybody this morning, I'll make it to you now, please convey it to everybody. I'm not gonna be tolerant of the errors that I've been tolerated in the past. I'm gonna go settle some old scores before this is over, because frankly, I'm not really afraid of the IRS anymore. I'm gonna pay them off in 2 years. That does mean that I don't really have any more enemies to contain my megalomania right now, so, wow.
You know, I read something last night that said the era of procrastination, safe measures, soothing and blethering experience is over. We're in a period of consequences.
Mm-hmm.
Great, I like to see that. Yeah, that's exactly
Winston
what.
Churchill, 1936.
Really? Good deal.
The era of
That's where we've been.
procrastination, safe measures, soothing and blethering experience, delays has come to a close. We're now in a era of consequences.
That's true, but.
And the other part is this, without getting into the details at the moment, it is very likely that I have a contract with the government for $1 billion. $1 billion. Non-bid for the beginning of next year, in which case I'm just going to offset it.
And what would be the cost related to it?
And it's for a patented product which they can't really switch from right now because they've already bought a few million of them. The company is being sold, it's being sold privately. It's not on the market yet, it's being offered to us first on very reasonable terms. And it's a company that you and every other human being in the Western world would recognize immediately upon its name being mentioned, so. It's a little older than that Microsoft. It's a little older than Microsoft.
I mean, no, I'm sorry.
No, it's an exclusive product, so I mean, we have really inside information that they're about to, that they will receive an order for another 45,000 units for the next 2 years each. But all that being said and done, the point is, this fight's going to take place at another day, at another time, not now.
And I'm okay with that.
It's really simple. When the companies merged MBA beginning January 1st, they're going to assume the note, agree to a 2-year balloon.
Which means they're going to have to sell again to somebody with cash.
Within 2 years. They're not going to have to, because actually we're going to make plenty of money in the meantime and pay it off. But yes, if the rest of this failed, they'd have to sell again in 2 years with cash.
I thought they were doing well public anyway.
It is a great possibility. It's an exit for everybody if the rest of our not there.
No, but it's, the 3 or 4 agents I've talked to about different aspects of this, the 10-year statutory period does not stop the trust fund. It just means they can't levy new assets after 10 years, but any assets you have remain levied.
It's not just trust fund, it's any other. Exactly right. Craig rents his house, rents his car for 10 years.
Right.
Then, he can do whatever he wants. The lien exists, but only as to pre-existing assets.
Right.
So, I mean, there's not really a lot of choice in that matter.
No.
Well, that's not anything. It says, we'll wait 2 years, we'll let this guy get out of office, we'll go submit the offer and compromise.
Assuming the next person's more simple.
Yeah. The other side is that we're going to be
Knock out on
we're here pressed from having AQMI as a special advisor to the President of the United States on NATO before the end of the year. Hey, it's a whole different game that's coming.
You understand where I'm coming from. I mean, I'm not at all disagreeing with any of that. I'm just trying to figure out.
Yeah, we'll only be on the trust fund portion, so we just pay them off.
I'm just trying to figure out, right, but we're just saying we can't go do trust fund portion because this guy's an election.
No, sunshine gets blown away.
Sunshine gets blown away.
Craig gets assessed, whatever the trust fund is, after we reapply, everything we can manually reapply.
Well, what does it say when the sunshine comes?
It's his responsibility.
He's responsible, and there's no question about that.
No question about that
No
whatsoever.
question.
No, he signed all the sunshine checks.
Oh, yeah, there's no question
Sunshine.
during this period.
He said as to Paradigm PBS, really not.
Is there a way-
32 million.
Is there a
With
way
penalty,
to
with the.
apply- Wow, okay.
The only way to play it is apply to trust fund first, and then they were pretty, you know, remember, these guys are, they really like it. They really want to take this case. They're really worried about the time consumption. They've been talking about how they can make sure they don't get dragged into something that takes up time that they can't really afford to spend on it. But ultimately, what it comes down to is, do you want this fight? If you want the fight, stop paying him and fight. You might just win. You got a good chance of winning this. And that's really what it comes down to.
You understand exactly what I'm
You're just worried about the time you miss paying.
No, it's more than the timing. It's miraculously, we're able to come up with $132 million or whatever the magic number is in 2 years to pay off the taxes.
It's not miraculous, I'm gonna tell him. I went to Lawrence Gibbs, his advice to me was, you guys can't opt-you. The reason that this isn't a problem at the moment is because he says we would be better off in criminal investigations because they're more reasonable than you. Not a little bit more reasonable, substantially more reasonable than collections. He says, so what we suspect is this has now gone up one level. And you have one of these hard-nosed who listen to Mr. Everson say to you, the problem is non-compliant taxpayers and you need to go get that money. What he really meant to say is, you need to go be reasonable and get it in whatever way makes the most sense in the circumstance, but most of the mid-level management of the IRS doesn't believe that any longer. So based upon that advice, we're going to shorten a period of 2 years, and based upon the advice, if you look at all my pretty charts, I said we'd have $900 million by January. We have $1.5 billion in revenue on January 1, and we're going to double it by July. So you know how come we can pay it? Because we have, the company's 600% bigger than it was July 2005.
And I agree with that, but I also have I guess it goes back to the comments that Daley kept making to me, which was, why doesn't Frank just go borrow the money if it's that easy? If he's this well off, why didn't he go borrow the money? Why didn't he do this? Why didn't he do that? If all of a sudden we come back and say, and I understand the logic behind it, but we come back and say, gosh, miraculously we're able to get a $132 million note paid off in 2 years.
Instead of 5.
Instead of 5.
It's not miraculous, because we're.
Not
showing how
miraculous.
it's happened.
We doubled the business over.
I
a
Road
road
mapping is more.
I understand that. Don't misunderstand me. I clearly
So-
understand the mathematics of it and how it works, but what I'm saying is, all of a sudden, it seems like we keep shortening the window because right now, they haven't said anything to us. I mean, Daley has not even attempted to contact me in 6 weeks now.
He said that, that's because these boys up here put a whole lot of data. They want to get the data, they don't want it to come through her because they think she'll screw up their investigation. And she might. They already have. That's the whole issue. But what's going to happen is this is going to drop off and they're going to be back at it. We might as well just cut it off and end both of these at once. It all goes away.
So what happens if you sign an offer and compromise and something goes horribly awry?
We're going to sign it off.
Not an offer and compromise, an installment agreement.
They can sue on the note. They can go ahead and go after Craig on the collection. They can try to make me a responsible person. That's the only thing else can they do.
Which is why I want you to be an officer. So you get some protection.
It's not going to protect you.
It's not going to do that.
I mean, protect
Oh,
you.
on a personal level, but his exposure is more limited. Craig's.
No.
His same exposure as Craig's?
They have more exposure with Craig. They're not going after Craig. They're coming after.
They're coming after him.
Well, Craig's uncollectible.
Craig's uncollectible and Craig didn't, the debt refinancing agreement put Frank squarely in the crosshairs, regardless of whether there's business or purpose or not. The fact is that entire series of transactions.
Frank is betting on this agreement,
Yeah.
bets on the success of this rule.
They don't even care about credit right now. Frank's the one they're after.
Yeah, it's all over for, which is exactly the way I wanted it, let them come after me. They come,
Yes, you're right, you can still protect yourself.
I have protected my, don't worry, they'll probably, this is a simple trade-off. I close down doggone Mirabolous, I take $3 million and I crush them. I make mincemeat of the IRS and I will make mincemeat of
They
it.
made a lot of mistakes. So
But that doesn't serve the better purpose. Finish building a $1 billion company. Who cares about $132 million?
It's not the dollar I care about. I mean, I want to be clear about that. I could care less for $200 million.
Remember when 132 million used to be a lot of money?
Remember 132 bucks was a lot of money.
Well, good, I'll take that one. Let me have that one, please.
Peanuts.
But
I
it's
remember
not
running
the
that lady
dollar.
to the
it's
banker that
just-
cashed a $500 check so they would keep the lights on.
I remember walking over to the Boheme to bail out with the last $78 in the checking account. But it's
This
not the
is
dollars
their,
that's
no,
bothering me.
and then I had this discussion with them, this is their job. You have to go tell the IRS in a convincing way that I didn't steal their money, that Mirabolous didn't steal their money, that probably that even Vandenberg and Byers and Virtue didn't steal their money and I covered it up. Those are the three goals. Panel's completely okay, he's ready, he asked me a whole bunch of questions. He doesn't see anything, they don't see anything. The only problem is the other side doesn't see it. Now, when they get all the financial stuff that you guys are preparing by January, they're gonna look at it and say, he didn't steal the money. That's their only concern at the moment. If the case fails, and it fails in good faith, there will be no repercussions to anything. If it works, there is no problem. It's not going to take 5 years to have that answer. It's foolish for us to
Frank,
try to
even
push that out.
Even if the case fails, they still would have received more money during the course of the failure than they ever
I'm not
received.
worried about winning.
No, I
I'm not
understand,
worried
but
about winning.
That's
I'm
true.
Trust me, it's not the worry about one, it's not any of that that's got me, that just doesn't sit right now. It's, none of that's bothering me. Again, the dollar amounts don't matter, the win or lose to the IRS doesn't matter. I mean, the fact was, we're planning to pay them in full anyways. All right, so.
I see this as a discount.
It just, it's one of those where suddenly what we said, yeah, we can do it in 5 years, and you already had the plan on the table. Yes, the value of the company's gone up, there's more on the table and everything else, but suddenly we're able to do it in 2 years.
We're not. I'm gonna write down a nice letter that says, the new buyer, I agree, in light of your conversations about borrowing the money, I went to the bank to see if they could borrow the money. Here's what the bank told me, they can actually borrow the money, it's not gonna happen for at least a year, because it really has to be seasoned. By the way, I negotiated a new deal that made this much larger, twice as large as we expected, 6 times as large as it was, and part of my condition for that was they had 24 months to pay this sum of money. You're $132 million on the balance to me. Why did it happen in 24 months? Not that I care about you, I care about me. I want my $100 million in 24 months. You're the beneficiary of it, just like I told you. Now, with that in mind, here comes the Praetorian Guard, because we're going to wipe out the Sunshine Debt, and we'll file an offer of compromise. We're not going to just go roll over and put it in credit. We're going to lose. We just need to know we're going to lose. So we can, incrementally bear credit for the fact that we're going to lose this fight. We're going to lose it. Maybe we'll get lucky. They'll change their policy midstream. We're going to bring the action to try to abate
How big is Sunshine?
60.
Trust fund's about 25.
Is that 60 of the 132 or 60 plus 132?
60 plus 132. We're going to go argue the Paradigm PBS thing. We got lots of work for people to do. We're not just going to roll over on this. In fact, it's going to look the exact reverse. We're going to have gone from rolling over to being very aggressively pushing up the positions, trying to cut down the amount of money that we owe. We're going to tell them they hope that they can get an existing IRS auditor to retire this next week, so she can come to work for us and do the employment audit on this case.
Nice.
That I mean, she's there right now, they can't get her to quit because they really didn't have work for her. Now they'll get her to quit, she'll come and do this case. And they'll believe whatever she says. We're gonna audit it, we're gonna argue about the payroll numbers, we even get the credits from the disadvantaged employees that pursue the I mean, we can run down, we're gonna start fighting the dollar amount now. That's what we're doing. But one way or another, we're selling this business in 2009.
2009.
2009 is a long time away.
It's an eternity here, but that's, again,
It's really like tomorrow.
no.
It is.
Can you imagine how many things are going to bridge by the time tomorrow hits?
Yeah,
here?
but you understand the time accelerates.
You do understand.
2009 is.
Tomorrow
We're
is.
gonna go address that elephant right up front. I can take the money, I've sent all the proof that.
It's not even the taking, the funny part is it's none of that, because I think we've already laid all that on the table. It's just that all of a sudden we come back 6 weeks after meeting, yes, we're larger than we thought we were going to be, which means we've got a better opportunity to get it paid off sooner. But we said, it's gonna take us at least a year to unravel these records. I'll be honest with you, I'm still not convinced we even want this person to come in and do the audit on the stuff, because I'm leery of what can come out of an audit going through on the records. I'm almost, if the goal is to get it paid off and make this thing go away, I don't want to have anything that we're saying, but we're hedging on this or we're hedging on this. I'd rather just say, this is what's been reported, we know this is over-reported, we don't even care, let's just get it done.
And, you know, and by the way, on the way back, I was in that position too. If all we're gonna pay is the taxes, and we're not gonna have to pay the penalties and not have to go through an abatement for it, then skip it.
That goes back to our discussion from earlier about AEM. In every scenario I go through, I can't see how we win by doing it, because we're going to have a huge cost up front. We open ourselves up to discovering something that shouldn't exist. We open ourselves up to an audit that tells us something that is different than we
Think it's
believe.
gonna get worse?
And
No, there's no way, the liability may shift, that's what.
the liability may shift, but the problem is, if we come back with anything different than what we've reported, and we get an auditor to sign off, in order for them to sign off, they have to be comfortable. I don't think there's an auditor in this country that can sign off on AEM the way it sits right now. Just in case you wonder. But beyond that, if they come back with anything that they have comfort on, that doesn't corroborate what we've told them, we just shot ourselves in the foot. That's our last hole of credibility, is this thing is unauditable. And that's why I think that.
And frankly speaking, it really is, unless you're spending a bunch of time and money. Hey, let me tell you what, I am 90% okay towards that goal.
I know you are, I know.
Yeah.
Particularly if they'll compromise.
But
About
they're not
7
gonna
o'clock.
compromise. All they'll do is reduce penalties, that's what I'm saying.
That's what I mean by compromise.
Okay.
No, they're not gonna compromise on the trust fund.
Or the regular tax. But the more I thought about this whole argument, the more I realized what I need to do down from the fact that if we actually get something done, it flies in the face of what we said, which is these things are such a disaster, it's almost going to be impossible to get it done. And that's what we laid out to them in July. It just scares the bejeebers out of me to actually get an audit done on this. Because if we're able to get it done, it's going to take an eternity, which doesn't help us in compliance.
So, then you just made my case, Dan. You just made my case. My case is, here's the reported tax. Prepared on PBS. Sunshine Companies is gone, offering compromise only, teeny tiny amount, let them reject it, but at least we'll try it.
Right.
Pay for that expense, we promise Craig we do our best.
Right.
Cost us $50,000 to run this offer and compromise through. We might get lucky, somebody may like him, his uncle's there or something, I don't know. Or the IRS will switch its policies. And if we lose it in a year, we lose it in a year. We'll just have to, Craig will have to know that at least he's got a salary if he has no assets.
What are you gonna offer? What are you gonna offer?
I think based on his 433A, he's not worth more than $1 million to the IRS over a 10-year period. He's not, based on the list of his assets, he can't be worth more than $5 million. So we offer him $2 million.
That's what I would
Take that
say.
in a heartbeat. And if they don't take that, they're idiots, because that's the best. That is literally the best possible case scenario. How are you going to possibly pay a guy to be any type of executive if he's got an IRS lien on there? I mean, mean, you destroy your credibility as a public company.
$2 million.
$2 million is generous.
Very generous.
So we offer $2 million on Sunshine, and we tell them, we don't want to spend any more money on PBS. It's a screwed up doggone mess. We're gonna just agree to pay the $132 million. It's not even $132 million actually, the note covers the difference. We're gonna pay you the note, which is the full value of the assets.
What's that?
The BCA note for $132 million.
We're gonna have BCA. Let me rephrase that. We need to find a way to get BCA cleaned up.
Yeah, actually.
In order for us to have any shot, we shot ourselves in the foot. I took the bullet for that because Berkowitz threw it out in the meeting, which is you told us this was going to happen, you told us this was going to happen, you told us this was going to happen. We're 9 months further down the road since what you told us was going to start happening, and all we've done is incur the liability. So I want to make sure that.
Yes. Oh, I see. Yeah. I thought you moved.
No.
Okay. Yes.
You understand what I'm saying?
That part of BCA is fine. Yes. By the end, the rest of it, I was hoping it was done.
Okay, but by December 31, we need to make sure we've got that.
Yeah.
That's my only concern there, because otherwise they'll come back and they're not going to be at all passive through this thing. And we can see what we do. They're going to come back guns blazing.
Yeah, that's why everything you say though, it all brings us back to the exact point.
No.
No.
Again, it's not. Again, I'm not worried about the settlement. I'm not worried about anything else. It's the fact that we're going suddenly this balloon. This is going to miraculously go in 2 years. When we already said it's going to take us a year at least to season the book and everything else to see if we have a shot. And we've got to have time to roll it up.
And I'm not suggesting we go and change. I mean, like I said, maybe we leave the $1 million for next year, and then we go to $2 million the year after.
No,
All we're going to do is call the balloon in 2 years.
Okay, but let's step back for just a second. Let's assume for argument's sake, we can get the book in reasonable form January 1. We have to season it for 12 months and even have the ability to get a loan on it. Then we would, in theory, that gets us all the way through 2007. Then, assumedly, if we can get all this done properly, and we can add, if we get it done right, we can. But we have until December of next year before we even are going to have a shot at really knowing what we're working with, because we will finally have had a chance to prove it out. I understand what you're saying.
Who are you telling this to? Are you telling me that's the truth? Are you telling me that's what you want to try to persuade them to?
No, there's a certain level of truth to it, but how, if you go to the outside,
Time to season the rate to make.
I heard what Robert said.
It's all on pro forma.
It's all on performance.
All you need to do is have the right platform. That's what MBA is.
Okay.
MBA has a solid audited history for a decade and a half.
Okay.
The
So you roll
question,
everything up under there. and-
right, that's why I'm rolling it back to there. Everybody's going to say, well, they only make, 1.5%. We're going to say, that's exactly right. On the first $500 million, they make 1.5%. On the next $5.5 million, they make 2.5%. On the third $500 million, they're making 4%. They're too small in their size. What's not readily apparent is their platform isn't really big enough to do it. We have to take our Thinkler system and insert it. But the same principle applies. You make a lot more money on $1.5 billion than you do on $500
Oh, sure,
million.
absolutely. Economies of scale, whole 9 yards.
You see, so I'm not at all worried about getting the money. I'm just worried about making it seem rational.
That's, again, the rational part's the part that's been killing me in this whole thing.
We'll get there.
Okay.
Dan Myers insisting that it be rational. What is the world coming to?
That's shocking. One,
While we're talking to Frank, why don't you look at these, because I have to deal with this tomorrow morning.
I saw that.
No, there's been redone.
So I haven't seen your notes on it, but I got the copy now.
Oh.
I literally, or 2 hours.
Argent Firma is going to go to a sheet for registration purposes, because it's holding all the coastal stuffs, and we'll have 5 owners of that. So they'll drop it to the separate sheet over here with these. Sullivan, Glover, all that cards. Just some people to come in, just so we don't have to have 50 million resumes put out in this thing. So where do you see things going and moving?